Sigh no more, lady, sigh no more. Men would deceive us ever. One foot in sea and one on shore. To one thing constant never. Then sigh not so, but let them go, and be you blithe and bonny, converting all your sounds of woe into hey, nonny, nonny.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge for the last day of May. There's a fifth Saturday, so we're doing another round. We've only got a couple other people. We got a small group today, just myself, Sheila, and Maggie. It's probably because it was a last-minute realization we had a fifth Saturday, and I had plans that got canceled, so I announced at the last minute we would do another round. I'm glad we're back, and I'm glad that Sheila and Maggie are joining us, but it's kind of a small group, but we'll still keep you guys entertained with works of Shakespeare chosen randomly by the Wheel of Shakespeare. Let's find the wheel here. Okay, let's add that to the stream. And then Sheila is going to be our first monologue today. There we go. Okay, so, and with only three of us, we'll each do two monologues and then listen for the scenes. So Celia's first monologue is going to be be the first that I learned. Act 2, Scene 2. Okay, let me know when you found it. Get myself out so you can start. You found it? Okay.
Through the forest have I gone, but Athenian found I none, on whose eyes I might approve this flower's force in stirring love. Night and silence. Who is here? Weeds of Athens he doth wear. This is he, my master said, despised the Athenian maid. And here's the maiden, sleeping sound on the dank and dirty ground. Oh, pretty soul! She durst not lie near this lack love, this kill courtesy. Charles, upon thy eyes I throw all the power this charm doth owe. When thou wakest, let love forbid sleep his seat on thy eyelid. So, awake when I am gone, for I must now to Oberon.
Okay, great. Oh, good. Bill just joined us, so we will have a slightly larger group than I thought. And Bill's was first, but we missed. Bill, glad you made it.
Thank you.
Oh, and Eleanor also just joined us. So yeah, first I thought we were going to have a really small group today, but a couple people joined us late, so we got a decent turnout. Okay, so the order is Bill, Sheila, myself, Eleanor, and Maggie. Okay, so Bill's monologue is going to be Comenius, I shall lack voice, is in Coriolanus, Act 2, and then so I am on deck after Bill, and then Eleanor, and then Maggie. Okay, have you found it, Bill?
I'm scrolling. I shall lack voice. Is that how it starts?
Let me see.
Wow,
yes, that's how it starts.
Yeah, that's it, right? Okay. I shall lack voice. The deeds of Coriolanus shall not be uttered feebly. It is held that valor is the chiefest virtue and most dignifies the haver. If it be, the man I speak of cannot in the world be singly counterpoised. At 16 years, when Tarquin made a head for Rome, he fought beyond the mark of others. Our then dictator, whom with all praise I point at, saw him fight when, with his Amazonian chin, he drove the bristled lips before him. He bestrid and overpressed Roman, and in the consul's view slew 3 oppressors. Tarquin's self he met, and struck him on his knee. In that day's feats, when he might act the woman in the scene, he proved best man in the field, and for his meed was brow bound with the oak. In his pupil age, man entered thus, he waxed like a sea, and in the brunt of 17 battles since, he lorched all swords of the garland. For this last, before and in Coralie, let me say, I cannot speak him home. He stopped the flyers, and by his rare example made the coward turn terror into sport, as weeds before a vessel under sail. So men obeyed and fell below his stern. His sword, death's stamp, where it did mark, he took. From face to foot, he was a thing of blood, whose every motion was timed with dying cries. Alone he entered the mortal gate of the city, which he painted with shunless destiny. Aidless came off, and with a sudden reinforcement struck Coralie like a planet. Now all's his. When, by and by, the din of war gan peace his ready sense, then straight his doubled spirit requickened what in flesh was fatigate. And in the battle came he, where he did run reeking o'er the lives of men, as if 'twere a perpetual spoil, until we called both field and city ours, he never stood to ease his breast with panting. See.
Okay, great. Thank you, Bill. So it's now my turn, then Eleanor, then Maggie. Before I spin for myself, one thing I wanted to mention is last week Maggie had pointed out, that sometimes I exit the stream early before and to make sure I don't do that before people have found their monologue, which is a valid point. But I also wanted to mention that one of the reasons why I do that is that when people start, I want the spotlight to be on them and to not have me in the stream. I want to take myself out before they start. So some people they don't give me the signal that they found it and they're ready to do, and they just start, and I'm still in the stream. I shouldn't be there. So yeah, I will wait till I make sure that people have found it before I start. But you guys make sure to give me some kind of signal that you have found it, so that I can take myself out of the stream. So just if I rush to take myself out, that's why. So let's just, if we all understand that, then that'll fix the problem. Okay, so it is my turn now. Myself. King Henry's opening monologue. Yeah. So shaken as we are, so wan with care, find we a time for frighted peace to pant, and breathe short-winded accents of new broils to be commenced in strands afar remote. No more the thirsty entrance of this soil shall daub her lips with her own children's blood. No more shall trenching war channel her fields, nor bruise her flowerets with the armored hoofs of hostile paces. Those opposed eyes, which like the meteors of a troubled heaven, all of one nature, of one substance bred, did lately meet in the intestine shock and furious close of civil butchery, shall now, in mutual, well-beseeming ranks, march all one way, and be no more opposed against acquaintance, kindred, and allies. The edge of war, like an ill-sheathed knife, no more shall cut his master. Therefore, friends, as far as to the sepulchre of Christ, whose soldier now, under whose blessed cross we are impressed and engaged to fight, forthwith the power of English shall we levy, whose arms were moulded in their mother's womb, to chase these pagans in those holy fields, over whose acres walked those blessed feet, which 1400 years ago were nailed for our advantage on the bitter cross. But this our purpose now is 12-month old, and bootless 'tis to tell you we will go. Therefore we meet not now. Let me hear of you, my gentle cousin Westmoreland, what yesternight our council did decree in forwarding this dear expedience. I don't know what happened. If I just noticed, we didn't miss too much of some kind of glitch happened. Okay, Eleanor, you're up. Okay, Eleanor's going to do. Mercutio, Queen Majesty. Act 1, Scene 4. Let's see the Queen Mab has been to you.
I have it.
Okay.
Oh, then I see Queen Mab hath been with you. She is the fairy's midwife, and she comes in shape no bigger than an agate stone on the forefinger of an alderman, drawn with a team of little enemies athwart men's noses as they lie asleep. Her wagon spokes made of long spiders' legs, the cover of the wings of grasshoppers, the traces of the smallest spider's web, the collars of the moonshine's watery beams, her whip of cricket's bone, the lash of film, her wagoner a small gray-coated gnat, not so big as a round little worm, pricked from the lazy finger of a maid. Her chariot is an empty hazelnut made by the joiner squirrel or old grub, time out of mind the fairies' coachmakers. And in this state she gallops night by night through lovers' brains, and then they dream of love. Or courtiers' knees that dream on curtsies straight, or lawyers' fingers who straight dream on fees, or ladies' lips who straight on kisses dream, which oft the angry mad with blisters plagues because their breaths with sweetmeats tainted are. Sometimes she gallops o'er a courtier's nose, and then dreams he of smelling out a suit. And sometimes comes she with a light tight pig's tail, tickling a parson's nose as he lies asleep, then dreams he of another benefice. Sometimes she drives o'er a soldier's neck, and then dreams he of cutting foreign throats, of breaches, ambuscadas, Spanish blades, of health's 5 fathom deep, and then anon drums in his ear, at which he starts and wakes, and being thus fright, it swears a prayer or two and sleeps again. This is that very Mab that plats the manes of horses in the night, and bakes the elf locks in foul sluttish hairs, which once untangled much misfortune bodes. This is the hag when maids lie on their backs, that presses them, and learns them first to bear, making them women of good carriage. This is she. So I talk of dreams, which are the children of an idle brain, begot of nothing but vain fantasy, which is as thin of substance as the air, and more inconstant than the wind, who woos even now the frozen bosom of the north, and being angered, puffs away from thence, turning his face to the dew-dropping south. I fear too early, for my mind misgives some consequence yet. Hanging in the stars shall bitterly begin his fearful date with this night's revels, and expire the term of a despised life, closed in my breast by some vile forfeit of untimely death. But he that hath the steerage of my course, direct my sail. Oh, on, lusty gentlemen.
Okay, great. Thank you, Eleanor. Lastly, before we spin for scenes, we have Maggie, and yeah, you went last week as well. I'm not picking on you. It's just random.
I know. I know. It's just that then you're the last person to pick in the scenes. But anyway, it's fine. I had a big part.
So everyone understands. I mean, you don't see it because I use the wheel itself to
No, I believe you. I believe you.
When you started doing this, I would spin twice.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what's going on here.
It happens. When I used to be a teacher, we would use that in the class. And it would pull up the same student over and over.
I would spin once for whose name it was, and then once for this thing. It just slowed us down too much. So I don't know if people remember
I get it.
that.
No, it's smart. It's a smart tactic.
Okay. So spinning for your monologue.
Yeah. Oh my gosh!
Don't get more classic than that. You're not to be.
Oh man, there are people who would kill for that.
Yeah.
I should know it by heart, but I don't.
Yeah.
3-1, correct?
3-1.
All right. Well, I get to put my money where my mouth is and actually do it. All right.
Got it?
Thank you. I'm ready. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them. To die, to sleep, no more. And by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Well, who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the will and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of? Thus, conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied over with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pith and moment with this regard their currents turn awry and lose the name of action. Soft you now, the fair Ophelia. Nymph, in thy orisons be all my sins remembered. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Maggie. So we'll now spin for scenes and choose in the order that we went in. And I just saw in the comments because Maggie randomly was chosen to go last week as well as this week. Sheila volunteered to change spots with Maggie, so Maggie will get to choose first this time. So we'll just switch that order. But let's orders for the five of us. First, we have Richard, okay, John Owen. Richard the Second, Act 1, Scene 2. John of Gaunt and the Duchess of Gloucester. As You Like It, Orlando and Rosalind. That's Act 3, Scene 2. Okay, so the five choices will be, so the five choices of roles will be John of Gaunt or the Duchess of Gloucester in Act 1, Scene 2 of Richard II, Orlando or Rosalind in As You Like It, Act 3, Scene 2, or doing another monologue are the five choices. Okay, Maggie,
Well,
what would you like?
I'm going to be very predictable and take Rosalind in 3-2.
Maggie will take Rosalind. Bill.
I was distracted for a moment. There's something from Richard II. Is that what you said?
That's Act 1, Scene 2, John of Gaunt talking to the Duchess of Gloucester.
Yeah, I'd like to take John of Gaunt.
Okay. Bill's going to take that one. I will take... I'll do a second monologue to wrap the game up after we do these two scenes. So we have the Duchess of Gloucester and we have Orlando. Eleanor.
What are my two choices?
You can be Orlando in the As You Like It scene or the Duchess of Gloucester in Richard II.
I am looking for that scene with Orlando and Rosalind. Oh, I will be. The Duchess is in which play and
Richard II, Act 1, Scene 2.
Richard II, Act 1, Scene 2. I will go for it. Duchess of Gloucester.
Okay. So what we will do to wrap up today's round, we will have, so Bill and Eleanor are going to be John of Gaunt and the Duchess in Richard II. Sheila and Maggie will be Orlando and Rosalind and As You Like It. Then I will do one final monologue. So let's see, Bill and Eleanor. Let me create the banner for you here. Okay, have you both found the scene, know where to start? Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Alas, the part I had in Woodstock's blood doth more solicit me than Yorick's claims to stir against the butchers of his life. But since correction lieth in those hands which made the fault that we cannot correct, put we our quarrel to the will of heaven, who, when they see the hours ripe on earth, will rain hot vengeance on offenders' heads.
Finds brotherhood in thee no sharper spur? Hath love in thine own old blood no living fire? Edward's 7 sons, whereof thyself art one, were as 7 vials of his sacred blood, or 7 fair branches springing from one root. Some of those 7 are dried by nature's course, some of those branches by the destinies cut. But Thomas, my dear lord, my life, my Gloucester, one vial full of Edward's sacred blood, one flourishing branch of his most royal root is cracked, and all the precious liquor spilt is hacked down, and his summer leaves all faded by envy's hand and murder's bloody axe. Oh, God, his blood was thine. That bed, that womb, that metal, that self mold, that fashioned thee made him a man. And though thou livest and breathest, yet art thou slain in him. Thou dost consent in some large measure to thy father's death, in that thou seest thy wretched brother die, who was the model of thy father's life. Call it not patience, Gaunt, it is despair. In suffering thus thy brother to be slaughtered, thou showest the naked pathway to thy life, teaching stern murder how to butcher thee. That which in mean man we entitle patience is pale, cold cowardice in noble breasts. What shall I say? To safeguard thine own life, the best way is to venge my Gloucester's death.
God's in the quarrel, for God substitute his deputy anointed in his sight hath caused his death, the which if wrongfully let heaven revenge, for I may never lift an angry arm against his minister.
Where then, alas, may I complain myself?
To God, the widow's champion and defense.
Why then I will. Farewell, old Gaunt. Thou goest to Coventry, there to behold our cousin Hereford and fell Mowbray fight. Oh, sit my husband's wrongs on Hereford's spear, that it may enter butcher Mowbray's breast. Or if misfortune miss the first career, be Mowbray's sin so heavy in his bosom, they may break his foaming courser's back and throw the rider headlong in the lists. A caitiff recreant to my cousin Hereford. Farewell, old Gaunt. Thy sometimes brother's wife, with her companion grief, must end her life.
Sister, farewell. I must to Coventry. As much good stay with thee as go with me.
Yet one word more. Grief boundeth where it falls, not with the empty hollowness. But wait, I take my leave before I have begun, for sorrow ends not when it seemeth done. Commend me to thy brother, Edmund York. Lo, this is all. Nay, yet depart not so. Though this be all, yet do not so quickly go. I shall remember more. Bid him, I'll wed. With all good speed at Plashy, visit me. Alack, and what shall good old York there see but empty lodgings and unfurnished walls, unpeopled offices, untrodden stones? And what hear there for welcome but my groans? Therefore commend me, let him not come there to seek out sorrow that dwelleth everywhere. Desolate, desolate will I hence and die. The last leave of thee takes my weeping eye. There was some noise going on all the time that I was speaking.
Oh well, fortunately, I didn't hear it. it. So maybe you just heard it there. It's probably good news that it didn't play over to the stream for the people that were watching us and couldn't hear it. Well, at least I couldn't. So that would probably mean any of our viewers didn't. So that's good news. Okay, we have the Orlando and Rosalind scene. Sheila is going to be Orlando. Maggie's going to be Rosalind. And then I'll do another monologue to wrap up. Have you both found where you're starting from?
We think so.
Yes.
Okay, you ready?
Yes. So I'll start with the aside to Celia. Okay. I will speak to him like a saucy lackey, and under that habit play the knave with him. Do you hear, Forrester?
Very well. What would you?
I pray you, what is the clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There's no clock in the forest.
Then there is no true lover in the forest, else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as a clock.
And why not the swift foot of time? Had not that been as proper?
Oh, by no means, sir. Time travels in diverse paces with diverse persons. I'll tell you who time ambles withal, who time trots withal, who time gallops withal, and who he stands still withal.
I prithee, who doth he trot withal?
Marry, he trots hard with a young maid between the contract of her marriage and the day it is solemnized. If the interim be but a semnite, time's pace is so hard that it seems the length of 7 years.
Who ambles time withal?
With a priest that lacks Latin and a rich man that hath not the gout. For the one sleeps easily because he cannot study, and the other lives merrily because he feels no pain. The one lacking the burden of lean and wasteful learning, the other knowing no burden of heavy, tedious penury. These time ambles withal.
Who doth he gallop withal?
With a thief to the gallows, for though he goes as softly as a foot can fall, he thinks himself too soon there.
Who stays it still withal?
With lawyers in the vacation, for they sleep between the term, and then they perceive not how time moves.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With this shepherdess, my sister, here in the skirts of the forest, like fringe upon a petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
As the coney that you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent is something finer than you could purchase in so removed a dwelling.
I have been told so of many, but indeed, an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who was in his youth an inland man, one that knew courtship too well, for there he fell in love. I have heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman to be touched with so many giddy offenses as he have generally taxed their whole sex withal.
Can you remember any of the principal evils that he laid to the charge of women?
Well, there were none principal. They were all like one another as halfpence are, every one fault seeming monstrous till his fellow fault came to match it.
I prithee, recount some of them.
No, I will not cast away my physic, but on those that are sick. There is a man haunts the forest that abuses our young plants with carving Rosalind on their barks, hangs odes upon hawthorns and elegies on brambles, all forsooth deifying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have them quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shaped. I pray you, tell me your remedy.
Oh, there is none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me how to know a man in love, in which cage of rushes I am sure you are not a prisoner.
Oh, what were his marks?
Oh, a lean cheek, which you have not, a blue eye, and sunken, which you have not, an unquestionable spirit, which you have not, a beard neglected, which you have not. But I pardon you for that, for simply your having a beard is a younger brother's revenue. Then your hose should be ungartered, your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements, as loving yourself than seeming lover of any other.
A fair youth, I could make thee believe I love.
Me believe it. Oh, you may as soon make her that you love believe it, which I warrant she is apter to do than to confess she does. That is one of the points in which women still give the lie to their consciences. But in good sooth, are you he that hangs the verses in the trees wherein Rosalind is so admired?
I swear to thee, youth, by the white hand of Rosalind, I am that unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness, and I tell you, deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. And the reason why they are not so punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Yet I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any so?
Yes, one, and in this manner. He was to imagine me his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me, at which time would I, being but a moonish youth, grieve, be effeminate, changeable, longing and liking, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow, inconstant, full of tears, full of smiles, for every passion something, and for no passion truly anything, as boys and women are for the most part cattle of this color, would now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, now weep for him, then spit at him, that I drave my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world and to live in a nook, merely monastic. Thus I cured him. And in this way will I take upon me to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, that there will not be one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you, if you would but call me Rosalind and come every day to my coat and woo me.
Now, by the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
Go with me to it, and I'll show it you. And by the way, you shall tell me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Why, you must call me Rosalind. Come, sister, will you go? Thank you. I suggest, Sheila, get another monologue too, because she was basically playing straight man. Thank you. I forgot that. So thank you so much.
It was fun. I'll do a monologue if you give me one, but that was a lot of fun to be your Orlando.
I don't mean to be controlling things. I just felt bad when I saw the lopsidedness.
You two were good. Don't worry about it.
You.
Okay, so I chose to do a spin for another monologue, and that's what I'll do to wrap up today's round. And we're going to finish up with. Notice. Hear me, grave fathers! No, noble tribunes, stay! For pity of mine age, whose youth was spent in dangerous wars, whilst you securely slept, for all my blood in Rome's great quarrel shed, for all the frosty nights I have watched, and for these bitter tears, which now you see filling the aged wrinkles in my cheeks, be pitiful to my condemned sons, whose souls are not corrupted as 'tis thought. For 22 sons I never wept, because they died in honor's lofty bed. For these tribunes in the dust I write my heart's deep languor and my soul's sad tears. Let my tears stanch the earth's dry appetite. My son's sweet blood will make it shame and blush. O earth, I will befriend thee the more with rain than thou distilled from those two ancient urns. Then youthful April shall with all his showers and summer's droughts I'll drop upon thee still. In winter with warm tears I'll melt the snow and keep eternal springtime on thy face. So thou refuse to drink my dear son's blood. O reverend tribunes, O gentle ancient men, unbind my sons, reverse the doom of death, and let me say that never wept before, my tears are now prevailing orators. Okay. One thing I mentioned, I noticed it's not just so many different people had issues with their screen freezing, and even though it was only multiple people were in the stream and only one was freezing, the fact that it kept happening to so many people leads me to believe it might be on my end of streaming this, where I don't know. I have a newer laptop. Maybe 2 weeks from now in the next round, I'll try to use my newer laptop, and maybe we won't have so many problems with different people freezing in the middle of their performances. Sorry to the people that were performing it and the people who were watching if that interrupted the flow of it, but we'll try to do better 2 weeks from now when we have our next round of the Wheel of Shakespeare challenge. I'll see you guys then. Bye now.